the recording, BidPoint's recording this. You can certainly go back through it. It has been recorded before. It's on our boot camp training, this presentation. And I'm gonna tell you a couple things. It's available in Keynote, because Keynote's better than PowerPoint, and we favor Mac users. It's also available in PDF format. So if you happen to be using a Windows machine, you can use the PDF. Don't get too excited though if you're a Mac user, because we're getting ready to release we have a system that's being developed. It's called Interflow. And right now we have a presentation and we have a proposal. What I just showed you a moment ago was the proposal from Solo. And I'm showing you our presentation, and then we're going to show the customer the proposal, right? Because there's a presentation that you give the customer and then you give them the proposal. Our system is now going to tie these together to where they're going to be seamless, to where you're going to be able to go through the presentation and the proposal all at the same time. It's going to be like one and the same. That's going to be coming out here middle of the month, even though I know it's almost the middle of the month. So it's just a few days away. All this stuff is kind of converging, and we thought we would have had it 2 months ago. It's just taking longer to put together. The beautiful thing about Interflow is your customers are going to see where they're at every step of the process. You're going to be able to see where your customers are at every step of the process. There's going to be communication channels. You're going to be able to know what's going on with permitting. You're going to be so all aspects you're going to be able to track and control. It's going to be really, 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 really good to use. Something that we've needed for a while, and you guys are going to get access to that. So the only thing I will say here is Mike, I know on our presentation it says SunSmart America. I don't know if we want. I mean, if we're going to have a BidPoint presentation or something that's branded that says BidPoint and/or BidPoint powered by SunSmart, or however you want to do it, but
we're probably just going to stick with SunSmart to not confuse anybody, because we're already dealing with a bunch of different names.
Okay.
And from a solar aspect, that's kind of what Rick and I had agreed on.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. So in essence, BidPoint is a sales engine, for SunSmart, and so you guys got access to all of everything that we've got access to. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on share screens here, and we're going to dive into the presentation. And then we're going to go over the various closes that we have, and go from there. So here's what I will say. This presentation has been put together over an extended period of time. It's responsible for over $80 million worth of solar sales. We did not create it. We've partnered with we're actually utilizing partnered with a consultant who's built a couple of very large successful solar companies. This presentation is tried and true. We did change the graphics on it, but there's a ton of science behind this. So please don't try to second guess it. It does work if you will take the time to go through it. A lot of people like to just sell off the proposal, just show savings, 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 right? A lot of people are interested in just savings, but not everybody is. Okay. Majority of people, yeah, you show them they can save money, they'll switch. But there's so many questions that pop up. And again, this is education-based selling. If you take the time to do this, I'll give you a perfect example. We just had a brand new sales rep that just went on a presentation, wanted to do it himself. I got this, I got this, I got this. Went, sold off the proposal, customer didn't move forward. His manager made a follow-up phone call. Customer had all kinds of questions. Manager scheduled a Zoom call, went through this presentation, signed the deal right after the Zoom presentation. So it works if you will allow it to. And I can't force everybody to use it, but some people like shortcuts. Just get really good at presenting this, and the shortcuts are how fast you can go through the material. I'm going to spend some time going through this. I'm going to spend a good 30, 45 minutes going through it. You can do this presentation in 15 minutes. So it's not like it takes an hour to do. But everybody here is coming to the table with a little bit different sales skills. You might have been in sales a long time, you might be in sales a short time. There's people that are good at reading people and understanding body language and understanding your customer and being able to build rapport and relate and mirroring and all that fun, wonderful stuff. All that comes into play. That's taken into consideration in this presentation. So we start right off the bat the whole reason our company is called SunSmart, really make the smart switch to solar. It just is it's just smart. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to play on words with the company name. It's why we call our company SunSmart. It's make the smart switch to solar. And so it's very important that you let people know who you are as a representative, and as a representative of BidPoint and a representative of SunSmart America. This presentation is literally designed to be able to read to the customer, because we want a brand new person to be able to go through this presentation. And so there's nothing wrong with reading, just be genuine with what you're saying, right? So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Our company is on a mission to inspire and encourage the mass adoption of residential solar nationwide. We are building a nationwide network of best-in-class solar providers and financiers to provide you the absolute best customer experience and customer solar solution. Why are we doing that? I'm going to pause for a second. 15 minutes to get through it with a customer. It's going to take me a half an hour, 45 minutes to explain some of the science behind it. When I say we are building a best-in-class network, banks and installers, because we're not a one-size-fits-all, right? You might get a customer that says, well, I want to get a couple of proposals. Fantastic. I'd be more than happy to give you a couple of proposals. We represent all the big companies in the area and have access to all the banks that everybody in the area have access to. We're not a one-stop shop, or we're a one-stop shop. We're not a one-size-fits-all. That's what you want to encourage the customer, because you're going to negate the fact that they may want to sit down with somebody else because they realize that you have options, right? It's like Priceline. You can go to all these different flights, but or you can get on one place and find the best option for the consumer. That's what we've done at SunSmart. We're thoughtful about how every decision we make here affects our planet, and we're constantly looking for ways to become more green and eco-friendly. And we hope going solar for you is potentially the first eco-friendly decision you make of many more to come. So we're already assuming the sale. And we're going to flat out tell the customer, look, I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to educate you. And I know that's cliche, especially for people in the sales arena, but it is the truth. We're here to educate you on everything you need and want to know about solar, because we believe that knowledge leads to confident decision making. It's our goal to have the most knowledgeable and satisfied customer base in the solar industry, so that together we can make a difference. I'm going to explain to you solar and explain to you the process. I'm not going to sell you solar. You're going to sell yourself solar, right? And so you can say that. You're more than welcome to ad lib. Selection, we're a one-stop shop for solar. We offer a wide range of panels and products fit for every home and situation. And we've got access and the ability to provide the best solution for every family we work with every time. We've got access to multiple brand of panels, multiple banks for financing, multiple batteries, whatever it is, we can provide it, right? We don't have just one panel or one battery or one bank. Now, for our partners that are selling in Florida, we have multiple companies we use, and we are even starting to do depending upon which, what we go with. We're training everybody on the Solo platform and on Titan as the install company, because Titan is in multiple states. If you're selling here in Florida, there's a really good, strong possibility that we're going to be doing the install. If you're selling in Texas, let's go through Titan, Colorado, Titan. We have aspirations as a company to build installation teams in other states. We are going to be opening up Georgia the end of this year or the beginning of next. We'll have install teams in Georgia. We already have our EC license in Georgia. Then we're going to move up into the Carolinas, and we're going to move over to Louisiana and Mississippi. So that's kind of our plan of attack as we're coming out of Florida and up into the other parts of the country. We're in Florida right now for install. We can sell in 30 some states, but we're in Florida for install for us, SunSmart. But that doesn't mean you can't sell in Texas, California. We'll just use Infinity or Suntuity or Titan. Okay. So put the proposal in Solo, and that's where we'll begin. When you've got a deal that you want to present or move forward with, let us know. We'll work on the banking and work on what company we're going to put it through. So installation, when you're talking as a sales rep to the customer, you're going to say, look, we take care of all aspects of installation, from the site survey and design and planning stages to permitting, homeowners association approval with all authorities having jurisdiction. Guys, you're going to see a lot of acronyms. We do that to save space here, We use a lot and we throw a lot. When you're with a customer, never use an acronym because the customer doesn't speak solar, right? You're learning solar, but they're not fluent in solar yet. So they don't know what AHJ means. AHJ means authorities having jurisdiction. That's your building departments, okay? So we work homeowners association approval with all authorities having jurisdiction and installation. But it doesn't stop there. We work directly with your utility to make sure that permission to operate, right, PTO, is a smooth transition. When they say, well, what's permission to operate? Well, you're going to become a partner and you're going to ask permission. You're going to own the equipment on the rooftop and the power that it produced, but you're going to become a partner with the utility because they have to buy power from you now, right? Let them know that early on. This isn't all about saving, oh, you're starting to sell me solar. No, you're actually going to be selling power to the power company. That's what this is all about. This isn't about running your house on solar. This is about you becoming a power company and selling power and getting credit for it with the utility. We handle each step in this process, and that allows us just to, guys, real quick rabbit trail. We exist and we got into installation and we put this whole thing together because in the very beginning, we were repping some pretty fly-by-night companies, and we're like, oh my gosh. And we just started problem solving after problem solving after problem solving. And, we're doing our best to eliminate some of the issues that we just have had with utilizing third-party install companies. But we handle each step in the process, which allows us to offer amazing customer service. That's the most, we care more about customer service than we do about sales, because customer service is going to generate way more sales as we build a name and as we build a brand, right? And guys, you are early enough in this. I mean, our company literally is not, just at a year and a half old. Now, moving along, if I can switch slides. Why is it not working? There we go. So you don't have to say discovery, but this is extremely important. Now, if this is the first time you're sitting down with a customer, maybe you called a friend up over the phone and you got a copy of a bill and you're doing a presentation. We have an entire virtual sales team that does nothing but works leads. And before they ever do a proposal, they do a discovery call. Okay. So if you're working on the internet generating leads, whatever it may be, this part of the presentation you're going to do by questions and answers just over the phone. But we've put it in the presentation because these are the critical steps, because again, they're going to give you, the customer is going to give you everything that you need to be able to close the deal. Question number one, it's pretty simple. Have you ever looked into going solar before? Right? This presentation is back and forth, but it's designed to let the customer talk a heck of a lot more than we do, right? Get them to elaborate on every question you ask for as long as possible by asking probing questions. Have you ever looked into going solar before? If they say yes, ask some other questions. Fantastic. What happened? Why didn't you go, if you looked into going solar before, why haven't you pulled the trigger? Well, no, this is the first time this is the first time. Now you know where you're at, right? First time, but we plan on, looking at a couple of other companies. Well, remember before I shared with you, we've got access to multiple banks, bunch of different panels, multiple installation companies. We're actually a dealer. It's like going to a dealership and being able to buy Subaru or Volkswagen or Ford or Chevy, right? Same concept here at SunSmart. We're a one-stop shop. We've got access to pretty much anything else that somebody else may want to quote you. So, right, we can get, that's an objection, right? And when we just got it out of the way, really the very first slide at discovery, okay? Here's an extremely important question, and I've never had anybody say using more power as an answer, but we want you to posture it because we're going to come back to it if needs be. But you're going to say, look, are you more interested in saving money, using more power, or going green? And a customer say, I'm interested in saving money, I'm interested in going green, I'm interested in all those. Using more power, Mike, have you got a new power bill yet since you put your pool in?
Not yet, but I'm afraid to.
Right? People have plans. So using more power means their bills are going to increase. We're putting an add-on on, right? We're having a baby. Mother-in-law's moving in. Just so many different things. People could be using more power. People could also be using less power, right? So ask these questions. And I'd like to tell you guys, I don't know if anybody saw me. I've been writing stuff down today. I mean, as I'm learning about some of the people that are on the calls, where they're from, what they do, trying to manage everybody's names. But you know, when you're sitting down, if you're face to face with a customer, have a pad and a pen and write stuff down. If you're doing a Zoom meeting, write stuff down on the answers. Number one, it lets the customer know that, hey, this person's actually listening to me and that they care enough to write it down, or it's important enough to write it down, right? So it's just a good dynamic to have in the sales process in general. Just basic sales, you know, 101. It lets the person know that you're listening and what they're saying is important.
Chad,
Yeah.
Hey, quick question, because you brought it up. What percentage of the company's sales are virtual and what percentages are live in person?
Great question. Very difficult for me to answer it for our in-house sales team, because we have an in-house virtual and in-house sales. It's probably 70-30, 70 being virtual, 30% being just because yeah, just the guys that work virtual are just animals. They're monsters. I mean, some of these guys are selling, you know, 12, 15 deals a month each. But as far as like outside sales engines, I don't know, because we have a lot of people that you know, got a lot of door knocking, a lot of roof companies that their reps sell for us. But you know, in house, probably yeah, 65, 35, 70, 30, somewhere around there.
That's just the opposite that I would have thought. That's nice to know.
Okay. Yeah, they cover more ground faster, because you can, you know, based on your ad buy, you know, they can just have a constant flow of leads coming in. If you're out door knocking, you know, it's time consuming. It might take you a few hours to hit 50 doors. But the good news about door knocking is it's free. So I can take anybody and show them how to make $10,000 a month in their first 30 days if they'll just willing to do this. But then there's, you know, there's people that have resources and they want to generate leads. I know Mike Healy is an absolute expert at generating leads online. As you guys learn solar, you know, like we've got teams of people. I mean, we have some of our best sales reps are guys that our top crew here, virtual wise, is, so our top sales rep in the field is a roofing representative, and he's got a team of guys. And then our best virtual sales team is based out of Mexico. We didn't look to hire out of Mexico during COVID. People got furloughed from the timeshare business and found us, and they just love their lifestyle and how much money they make versus the cost of living in Mexico. And so they stayed in Mexico, and we got a team of people that are cranking deals, and we target market. They're selling a ton of deals right now in Mississippi, just because that's the state that we're targeting right now. But yeah, it's a good question, and it was a good rabbit trail. But we gotta get back to the presentation. So more interested in saving money, using power, or going green. Okay, pay attention to what they say, because when somebody says I'm really interested in going green, use it to close them. You know, if they get to the end of the line and say, "Oh, I want to think about it," well, time out. What do you want to think about? You said you're interested in going green. I just showed you, you know, how much of an impact you're having on the environment. Oh, you told me you were saving money. I just showed you savings of, you know, $60 a month. What is there to think about, right? So pay attention, and because we're going to use it later, right? That's why this is called discovery. So if the person before had said, yes, I've looked into going solar before, then great, you can ask this question. If they said, no, I've never looked into going solar, you can skip this slide. But other than price, why have you not gone solar yet? You know, we're waiting for the technology to change, the price to come down. We don't know if we're moving, right? Pay attention. They're going to give you a whole reason why they haven't gone solar yet, if they've looked into going solar. Oh, we sat down with somebody, we just thought the price was too high, or whatever it is, right? It could be 100,000 different things. Let it give them to you. And then sales is all about overcoming that objection. Telling you why they haven't gone solar yet could be an objection. You know, they could flat out tell you, you know, we tried to go solar and our credit's just not where it needed to be. Oh, okay. What have you done to get your credit fixed? Edgar, that's right for you, man. We lose a ton of deals on credit, and we are going to catch back up. You just got to understand I'm busy. That's not an excuse, but I do want to talk to you. So we'll definitely catch up in the next couple of days and get things moving in that regard, because we have a ton of deals that we've missed, specifically in Mississippi, one of the poorer states in the United States. And just real quick rabbit trail. One of the reasons why we're fishing in Mississippi is just lead costs, the cost per acquisition. There's not a lot of people fishing in Mississippi, so our virtual team is actually using it to train, because leads are cheaper in Mississippi than they are in Florida by a lot. So it's cheaper for us to train in Mississippi, right, and get people practice. Our cost per acquisition is less. And then once they get acclimated and they get a couple sales under the belt and they get confidence and we get confidence in them, we can move them into these other states where leads are more expensive, right? All right. So in the future, do you anticipate any changes in energy consumption, right? Maybe a baby's on the way. Again, maybe mom's moving in, or kids coming back home, right? Maybe kids leaving home. Maybe we're building a pool. So many different things. This is important to find out up front, because when you say, when this is the question that I asked the other day to the person that said, yeah, I'm gonna finish the room above the garage. Awesome. What are you gonna turn it into? Right? Get them talking. Man, he went on and on for a good 5 minutes about what he wants to do in the room, and he's video games, and he plays guitar, and he's going to soundproof it, and blah blah blah. Right? So he told us all this stuff, and I already knew what his proposal was. I'm like, fantastic. How far along are you in the process? Do you have any idea? How much money what's your budget for that? Oh, my budget is like 15,000, 14,000. And so guess what I did when I got his tax credit? I'm not giving it back to him. I'm showing him, hey, here's your tax credit. You're getting it back, but right here's the money to finance. And so you can go solar, save this much money a month, and pay for, right? So pay attention to what people tell you, because they're going to give you everything. I will be so bold as to say this. This presentation will close 100% of the people you present it to. The question is, will you pick up everything that someone's laying down for you to be able to close them with the ammunition they give you? Okay. And that's sales skills. That's all that stuff can be learned and stuff, but I'd be so bold as to say this presentation should close 100% of the people. The question is, can you close 100% of people? And the answer is no. I can't close 100%. I don't catch everything. I'm not that good. But it's here. And again, no reasonable objection to not go solar. And that's the biggest thing. My goal today is for you guys to realize that there's no reasonable objection. You're still going to get no's, but they're not reasonable, right? All right. Now, completely, totally out of left field question, right? Most people don't know there's a tax credit in solar until you share it with them. So we've been asking all these questions, and now we got this thing because, maybe they're bored. Maybe they don't, this is going to shake them a little bit, because you're going to flat out of left field say, hey, real quick, how do you typically pay your federal taxes each year? That's kind of a personal question, right? But they're going to say, okay, what do you mean? How do I pay? Are you W-2 or 1099? What does that matter? Well, W-2, it means you're paying in. You're probably, there's a federal income tax credit. The federal government's going to cover 26% of the cost to go solar. I'm going to cover that in a little bit, but do you typically write a check every year, or do you get a refund, right? And then let them tell you, and now you know where you're at, right? I have to write a check every year, or no, I get a refund, because a lot of people confuse the tax credit as a refund, and it's not. It's an addition to, and you're going to be able to come back to that in a few more slides. This is the most important slide in the presentation. To save space, it's asked as one question. Okay, but I want you to ask it as two questions. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, what's your biggest goal in going solar? And don't say a word. They're going to tell you what their biggest, hey, we want to save money. Oh, we're concerned about the environment. They're going to tell you every biggest goal in going solar, right? They're going to give it to you. This is their reason why they agreed to a schedule with you to sit down, whether it's face to face or whether it's over the internet. They're going to tell you right now.
That's very cool.
How to close them. Okay. Pay attention to what they say. Right after they give you that answer, say, awesome. What are your biggest concerns with going solar? Now they're going to give you every objection they have to not go solar. And Between now and the end of the presentation, you've got to format how to posture the presentation the rest of the way, covering all of those objections that they're going to give you, along with reinforcing their goals for going solar, right? Most important slide, you can't skip it. Paramount that you get the answer to these two. If that's the case, then you're fighting a war without bullets. You don't have any ammunition to be able to close your customer with if you don't get the answers to these two questions. Okay? Don't think that you can start off with this question. Maybe you can with your next door neighbor or friend or family member, right? Who's you already opened up the conversation, but a complete total stranger, you got to build rapport. That's why these slides are built this way. You got to get the answer to this question. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. They're gonna give it to you, and then you're gonna use it against them in a good way. All right. So, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, appreciate you sharing all of that information with me. I agree. Now start reinforcing everything they told you. Yes, I agree. It's extremely important to go green. I know you made an reason saying that you were interested in. It's hard for me because none of you guys gave me any answers, so I'm just sitting here fumbling for something to say. But you mentioned to me that you might increase your use of power because you're getting ready to put an addition on, or you've been wanting to put a pool in for years because I know, Mike, you wanted to do that. So let me explain to you then why solar is the smart choice for you, right? So you take everything they just gave you and you just let me show you why solar is the smart choice. Now, guys, we already went through these earlier, but now we're gonna go back through them one at a time. Number one, you're gonna get to lock in your energy rate, and you're not gonna ever have to worry about the power company raising rates. How long have you lived in your house? 15 years. Great. Do you remember what your power bill was when you first moved in? No, not really. Would you say it was higher or lower than it is today? Right? People know that the power has gone up, right? If they're getting a $300 bill today, it was 150, 15, 20 years ago. So, make sure you're going to reinforce. Today we're going to be able to lock in your energy rate. Okay. Number two, you're going to get to do this today, and always say that. I know it's crazy, but you're setting them up. You're not sitting here for your health, but we're going to be able to do this today at no cost out of pocket. It's actually easier to switch to go solar than it is to change phone companies. All right. You're going to get fixed, transparent payments that are never going to change. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. Your payment will change. It's actually going to go away. At the end of the loan, your payment completely, totally goes, wait a minute, there's a loan? Yeah, I'll get to that in a moment, right? You're going to get a chance to own your own power. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you own this home, correct? Yes. Why did you decide to become homeowners? Did you rent before you became a homeowner? Most people have rented before they became a homeowner. So you understand the concept, right? You're building equity. Same concept with power. Right now, you're renting power from the utility. You do not control the price. I'm going to show you how you can own your power and build equity in your own power supply. And I'm also going to show you how the power company is going to pay you to produce power for you and for them. Okay. Number four, tax credit. You're going to be able to assess how much your customer knows about this. Feel free to ad lib as much as you want based on your understanding and or your just familiarity with the tax credit. But the income tax credit was originally established by the Energy Policy Act of 2005. It was actually set to expire at the end of 2007. So, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you've probably seen in the neighborhood more and more people going solar, especially here in Florida. So thanks to the popularity of the income tax credit, again, remember, don't use ITC. It's there to save space. Call it what it is. And its successes in supporting the United States transition to a renewable energy economy, Congress has actually extended its expiration date multiple times. Just so you guys are aware, it was supposed to drop to 22% this year, 2021. At the end of last year, they extended it to 26%. It used to be 30%. Last year, it dropped to 26. And then this year, it was supposed to drop to 22, and they extended to 26. They extended the 26% all the way out through 2023. So we still have a couple more years at 26%. Then it drops to 22. Then it drops to 10. Then it's slated to go away. Okay. But you get to claim the investment tax credit for solar when you file your return. So if you go solar this year, you get to, I just did my taxes last week. I'm a procrastinator when it comes to stupid stuff. And so, October came and I just did my taxes, and we went solar last year. So we got the income tax credit on solar when you do your yearly federal tax return. So we just did it for 2020. We got a federal income tax credit. Um, Remember to let your accountant know you've gone solar in the past year, or if you file your own taxes, make sure you make a note of it. It literally is pretty simple. It's, did you make any clean energy stuff? And yeah, we did AC, we did several different things. So, and everyone has a different percentage offset to your tax credit. Solar is 26. So as long as you own your solar system, you're eligible for the solar income tax credit. Even if you don't have enough tax liability to claim the entire credit in 1 year, you can roll it over for the remaining credits into the future years for as long as the tax credit's in effect. Perfect example. Let's say you're getting a refund, you overpaid, you only paid $15,000 in taxes, and you got a $20,000 tax credit. Well, you're going to get that $15,000 back, and you're going to have $5,000 for next year. Okay, um, that's the way that works. And you can kick that can down the road for as long as you get that, until you recoup it. So it's not, it's not one of those things that if you don't recoup it, you lose it. You get to use as much as you need this year, and if there's some left over, you can use the rest for the following year. Now we're going to increase your property value without increasing property taxes. Solar's proven to increase property value by an average of 4 to 5%. I'm sorry, I'm going to need to update this slide so it's generic. It's 4.1% nationwide, but under Florida law, the increase in value cannot be subjected to additional property taxes. So like when you put a pool in and you increase your property value, then the county can come out and sorry, Mike, to keep picking on you. But when you increase your property value by ways like that, the county can actually come out and actually assess your taxes and increase your property taxes. They can't do that with solar. So if you increase your property value with clean energy or green, going green, they cannot, here in Florida, they cannot assess additional property taxes based on that. All right. Now there's a link you'll see to an article at CNBC. Guys, this is available as a download on our resources, but I'm gonna use this here in just a little bit and show you a couple things. But it is linked to, if you're on the PDF, if you're using the PDF, you can click it and it pulls it up, because you just want to be the messenger. You don't want to be the message. You always want to use third party as verification. And so this is going to enable you to do that if you're using the PDF or the one through Interflow when it is released. If you're using this, you can sometimes maybe just have it sitting on another tab, and you can pull it up. In fact, let me just go ahead and do that real quick. I'm going to grab this link, and let me see if I can grab this link just to show you what I'm talking about. Because again, it's always good to have third-party validation. Solar power can boost your home's value. There it is. And it'll give you a state breakdown. So Jersey's 9.9%, Pennsylvania 4.9%, North Carolina 4.8%, Louisiana 4.9%, okay, Florida 4%. And then you'll see down here where it says, while the solar premium for the state of Florida is 4%, it increases to 4.6% in Orlando. So if you got an Orlando address, it's actually a little bit more. So I think we had somebody tuning in from around New York, or 3.6 in New York, 3.5 South Carolina. Pennsylvania 4.9, so you get the best of both worlds there in New York, Pennsylvania. Use this, and you can email this to your customer, and there's just all kinds of different things, because you don't want that coming from SunSmart. You don't want that coming from you. You want that coming from, this is coming from CNBC, and then this is actually a report coming from Zillow, recent research done by Zillow. You can click on that. It takes you right to their article, and it's just a good resource to have. So going back to the presentation, I want to get through this so we can get back into the closings on the proposals and leave some time for comp. And of course, environmental impact as an added benefit, perhaps even the most, more valuable. Solar reduces the rate we burn fossil fuels that cause harmful carbon emissions in the air we breathe, right? Keep in mind, we already went through this today. We watched that video, but now you want to take all the information that's in that video and you want to use it in a 1 or 2 minute scenario and explain how the power grid works, right? And focus on the fact that it's dirty, it's inefficient, It's antiquated, blah, 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 right? And you can explain it. It's got to go through the transformers, and they got to amp it up, and they got to throttle it back, and you got to pay for that whole delivery. Pull out their utility bill, look at it, show them how much they're paying for delivery, right? Make a villain out of the power company. And then we're going to provide the solution, right? How solar works. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we're going to put solar panels on your rooftop. These are photovoltaic, or PV for short, solar panels that are going to harness, our greatest natural resource, the sun. That PV or photovoltaic reaction is going to create DC or direct current electricity. We're going to run that down the side of the house through conduit into an inverter box. There we're going to convert it to AC or alternating current electricity, and that's what we use to power our homes. All this is going to be tracked through a bidirectional smart meter. You're going to use the energy that you produce first, all right? And then any excess power is going to be sent to the power grid, and you're going to start storing up energy credits so that when the sun goes down, you're not going to be using your power. You're going to be using the power company's power, but you're going to be pulling on those energy credits. Okay, so I'm going to get into showing you the savings, but first, before I do that, I want to show you the cost of not going solar. And you saw this on the proposal. We just put it right here so that you can show a customer that, over the course of the last 17, 18 years, the cost has nearly doubled going, if you don't go solar. So if your bill's 200 today, 15 years from now, it's going to be closer to 400, right? What are the upfront costs? There are absolutely zero upfront costs when you go solar. You don't pay a penny until your system is installed, activated, and producing your own power and replacing your old utility bill, guaranteed. Credits and rebates, 26% cash back. You're just now reinforcing that spend a little bit more time, make sure they understand it. 26% credit. You're going to show them that in the proposal in a moment. And then this is kind of where you get the sticky stuff out of the way. I've already done your proposal. Your house looks great. It looks like it qualifies for solar, and it looks like you're going to have substantial savings. And now we just need to find out, whether or not you can actually go solar if you qualify. Are you, or at least somebody in the house, do you have at least a 650 credit score or higher? Now, I told you earlier that we can get 600 or more approved. Okay, there's a reason why we have 650 here. 650 is here because if someone's a 640 and they want to go solar, what did we just do? We just took the wind out of their sail, didn't we? Like, they can't go solar now because you just told them they needed 650, and they're like, oh, and you can read it in their expression, right? So here's what you do. You say, you know what? So you're 640, current on your mortgage, current on your car payments, all that kind of stuff. Okay. I'm gonna make a quick phone call, and let me see if I might be able to squeak it, might be able to get it done. Let me see what can be done. We're going to do a credit score. You're going to make a phone call. You're going to basically call the bank and just say, hey, we just did a credit app. Are they approved? You're going to get an instant approval on the computer when you do it. But you just told the customer you're going to make a phone call. What this does is it takes away the chance of them wanting to think about it, because they know they don't qualify based on this slide, and you just got the job done, right? Because I got great news, Mr. and Ms. Customer, came back, we're able to do this, okay? But that comes after you do the proposal. It just puts it in their mind. This is also another scenario where you're going to find out the customer says, yeah, I'm a 719, I'm bullets, not worried about that. And we got, got good credit. Now you know that you might need to change it on the proposal and say, fantastic. In a moment, I'm going to show you your price point. I actually quoted you at 1.99%, which is a great rate. But if you're over 700 for a limited time, and it is a limited time, they've not told us when they're going to do away with that product. But that 0.99 is only with one bank, and we'd have to switch banks to Sonova Bank. But the good news is I can get you 0.99 APR if you're 700 or higher. And so we put a time crunch on it, which means we don't want to delay. We don't know how long it's going to be. And that's not a line. That's true. We don't know when Sonova Bank is going to do away with their 0.99 financing for 700 or higher. We just got it like 5 months ago. So, are they going to keep it forever? I don't know. They told us it was limited when they reached their allotment, whatever that means, and, just share that with the customer. So wrapping things up, we're going to get into your proposal in just a moment, but there's a couple of things that we want to go over. We warrant all product related roof penetrations during installation to be weather tight for 25 years. So earlier on, somebody says, what was some of the objections to going solar? Maybe said, hey, I'm not a real big fan of you guys putting holes in my roof. Here's where you can address it. Okay. Nip it in the bud. 25 years, don't have to worry about it. We guarantee it. If it's leaking, we'll come out and fix it. Okay. Panels, 25-year warranty. Inverters, optimizers, 25 years on the power opties, 12 years for inverters with an optional extension to 25 years for about 30 bucks. There is an extended warranty you can put on the inverters if you choose. Guys, in another training, we'll go into the difference between opties and inverters. But here's where, as a sales rep, if you wanted to just throw in the 25-year warranty, if somebody says, I want to think about it, say, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I mentioned that 12-year warranty on inverters. We'd be more than happy as a company to throw in that 25-year warranty and we'll cover the cost on it if you're willing to move forward and get the process started today, right? So there's some things that you can do as closing techniques that you'll hear some of us do or you'll get comfortable doing. Guys, this presentation's recorded. I did spend about an hour going through it during boot camp, so please feel free to go back and revisit it. Take good notes, watch it over and over so that you can learn it just like you learned your favorite song and you can start regurgitating it, right? Somebody asked this earlier, what happens if I move? Sometimes it's one of the things that comes out when you ask what's your biggest concern with going solar? Well, my biggest concern is covering the loan if I sell my house, right? If I'm getting ready to drop $30,000 and I sell my house, do I have to pay for it? Right? So this eliminates that. You can transfer the solar bill to the new homeowner. You literally switch the name on the bill just like you would with a regular utility bill. Okay. But maybe you've lived there for 15, 16 years and you increase your property value and you only owe like $10,000 left on the loan, right? And your house is worth, I don't know, $430 or something. Maybe you sell it for $440. So you just take that $10,000, throw it in there, and you advertise it as, hey, this house is energy efficient and there's no power bill. Everybody else in the neighborhood's paying $500 or more a month. You're saving $6,000 a year if you buy my house, right? So maybe you just roll the remainder of the system into your home's value. You can do that. It's up to you the customer has that option. We do not put a lien on the property. These are unsecured loans, no lien placed on the property. That's important because that's something that's relatively new. It did not used to be that way. And so it helps handle any objection that a homeowner might have. Guys, I'm going to skip this because I'm just trying to save a little bit of time here. Everything I showed you in that slide explaining the bidirectional smart meter, and we're going to place panels on the roof to capture the power of our greatest natural resource, the sun. I already said that. This is just 2 slides saying it again, reinforcing the process, and then how the net energy metering works. Bidirectional meter spins one way when you're producing electricity, right? So just take the time to sit down and explain this so the customer understands net metering, okay? And so, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, our process is extremely seamless, okay? What we're gonna do today, I can't put solar on your rooftop, so you can rest easy, but we're gonna get the process started. We're gonna qualify you for solar, and we're gonna press the go button on your system, and we're gonna take care of it from there. So let me tell you what the next few days are gonna look like, okay? First of all, we're going to have to send technicians out here. It's going to happen within the next week. Tell me some days that may or may not work for you, but we're going to have to do what's called a site survey. We're going to check the condition of the roof. We're going to jump in the attic. We got to look at the main panel on the house. There are some things that we need to do from a technical standpoint to make sure that your home, is okay for solar. So that's going to be the next 7 days. Then 2 to 5 days after that, we're going to get all the plans done with engineering and have, actual CAD or computer, drawings. Then we're going to submit those to the building department in your county or city. And then it's kind of out of our hands. We're completely, totally dependent upon them. And when they get back to us with a permit, that can take sometimes up to 3 weeks. And then once we have that back, we can do an install when we can schedule your install. So all that, you just buy yourself about 40, 45 days right there and through that process. Make sure you explain them that process. Typically we can do install in 1 day. We do schedule 2 days for most installs just because of weather. And then if we can, move things around, we do, but for the most part, we can do most installs in 1 day. Now, this is extremely important. Everybody thinks that once we install solar on the rooftop, it's done. Not the case. So once we've done the installation, we now have to request inspection. So we've got to call the county up and schedule an inspection. Right now, we usually can get an inspection in just a couple of days. There was a time, not that long ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, where people were not working and we were under this, COVID craziness. And, we were seeing things take 2 and 3 weeks. So we were telling people, look, whenever the county schedules it, they're shorthanded. It can take up to a month. And then activation. Once we pass inspection, we then send permission to operate to the utility. So we're going to send your utility company, hey, we passed inspection on the solar, come out and switch out the meter and turn the system on. Utility companies like to drag their feet, right? They're not real excited to get you turned on, unfortunately. Now, by law, they have to, but they get to schedule it. Some utility companies are better than others. It can take up to a month. It can take up to a couple days, but Duke Energy here in Florida, they're the worst. I've seen them take 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's ridiculous. But we're at their mercy and there's nothing we can do about it. So just know that can take, and then once they come out and switch out the meter, we can turn your system on and you can start saving money. So that is basically the presentation, guys. And then we're going to go into the custom proposal. So Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I appreciate you letting me share with that. I know that was a lot of information. Now let me show you what all this means to you and how much money we can save you. And now I got to find the proposal. And that's when you're going to go into this, okay? And you're going to show them their design, okay? You're going to show them their system size. You're going to show them, we're going to put 24 panels up, show them this graph. We already talked about that, okay? And then you're going to show them what they're currently paying now, which is their average bill. And we're going to get you 130 solar payment. What's this 56 new utility bill? Just like mine's $17.28. I showed you guys that. I'm producing more than I'm consuming, but my service charge, well, this is, I don't know what power, I forget what power company this was, but they're just more expensive, $56 for his utility bill each and every month. But $80,000 worth of savings. You can show them their interest rate, show that, and they should be ready to move forward. If they hem haul around, or you can, if they told you things before, like they're going to be putting a pool in, show them how they can finance the pool by going solar. Here's 11 grand for your pool. Probably doesn't go too far towards a pool, but there's 11 grand for a pool and your payment only went up $47 a month, right? You can finance that pool up 1.49% over 25 years, right? That's, you can use that based on the information that they're giving you. Guys, there's a lot of other things on here. We do take a much deeper dive in boot camp on a few things, but I'm going to push the pause button. It's 12:30. We got about 30 minutes left, and I do want to try to end on time. I thought we might get done early, but I was wrong because I talked too much. Does anybody have any questions on the presentation as we went through it?
Just one question on that thing you showed before. New Jersey shows 9.9% in increase in home value. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
That's the place to be. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It is. It is. So yeah, you can, if you got friends in Jersey, or you're in Jersey,
No,
who was it? Somebody's in Jersey. This is Dale, right? Dale, you're in Jersey, correct?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, 9.9% property value there, sir. So whatever your house is worth, add 10% to it, and not to mention the, few $1,000s you'll make going solar, which we're going to get into next on the guys, you're going to have the flexibility in pricing. You know, now this is California, and we don't charge anywhere near this in Florida. 3, 4, 5. Why do we charge so much? Because the cost of energy out there is extreme. But you know, if this was a Florida proposal, we would do it a little bit different. And I'm going to get into the comp plan now. Is now a good time? Is everybody cool if we go and jump into comp?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.